Welcome to Head Noise, a live stream show where we open up the conversation about mental health. You can join in live or just watch. Whatever you do, we want to support your mental well-being.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Head Noise, your mental health podcast live on YouTube. This evening's guest is, he's called himself Wild Willie. I don't know if we should share your last name or not, but we didn't discuss the are we sharing your government name today? Willie Thornton, welcome to the show. How are you, sir? I've been excited about this all day just because you have some loves that we share, such as music and mental health, and I really am looking forward to the conversation. How are you today?
I'm good once I realized the time differentials.
Well,
you take a country boy from the sticks and you start throwing in all these time zones, and it gets a little confusing.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. So being Irish, I'm very familiar. I was over in the UK visiting family for Christmas, and it was an 8-hour time difference, and I think I'm still getting over that, I'll be honest. So just a little bit about you. You're a host of Soul Impact, How Music Saved Us. You're a mental health advocate and survivor, and you've got loads of stuff to talk about: childhood trauma, surviving narcissistic marriage, addiction recovery, and how music storytelling became tools for healing. Honestly, the latter, the music side, has been a huge piece for me. I've been doing a little songwriting myself, so I can definitely identify with that. But just give us a little bit about your backstory. Obviously, I shared a little bit, but tell us kind of what really brought you into the mental health space.
Well, I've always struggled with mental health. I was at a young age, I was messed with by an older cousin, and I dealt with a lot of issues because of it. Like, I think I was 7 or 8, and it went on for a couple of years. So initially, I started, the tall tale signs, the wetting the bed, the afraid of the dark, that kind of stuff. And my stepdad would beat the snot out of me. I mean, grown boys aren't supposed to do that, blah, blah, blah. I've probably heard everything. So
yeah,
right off the get-go, I struggled with self-worth, and probably honestly was diagnosed with PTSD way back then. I just didn't realize it. It wasn't as easily diagnosed back then as it was now for people that weren't in the military, because it mainly started as a diagnosis for military.
Right.
So it's harder to catch outside of it.
Right.
Then grow up, fast forward throughout my childhood. My stepdad was abusive as all get out. Wasn't much better than my biological father. My earliest memory of him, I was 3 years old, and I spent hours getting a red brick glass from where he had thrown a red brick through the window, and spent hours getting the glass dug out of my knee at the age of 3. I mean, that is the first memory. I won't say the only, but the first memory of my biological father. And then the memories I've had of my stepdad weren't much better. And
yeah, that's it. So what was it that really, excuse me. So for me, like I was raised kind of in the same era, and it's like, you're just sad. Get, buck up. Like it's fun. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, just
exactly.
Come on, you're a man. Like, suck it up. You know what I mean?
Initially, that's exactly what it came into: is men don't cry, men swallow their emotions. Like I said, I was molested from the age of 7 to probably 9, maybe a little longer.
Wow.
And when it came out, my stepdad pretty much came at my mom, told my mom she wasn't allowed to take me anymore because men don't do that kind of stuff. So then it just taught, and then we moved from Louisiana to Missouri, which I was thankful because we were originally from Florida. Then we moved to Missouri. Then he was a commercial fisherman, so then we moved to Louisiana. And my mom moved us back up to Missouri, and I was probably glad because I got away from the person that was doing it. My mom knew what was going on after the fact, obviously, once I got brave enough to come out. And then my stepdad, he would, I could do nothing right. Even if I was excelling in school and I got all A's and one B, I would get crap about the B.
Right.
So, meanwhile, my stepbrother could get C's and D's and B's and be okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But so I excelled. I started at first. I got in trouble, got in a lot of fights because I had a lot of anger built up.
Right.
And then I realized I get kicked out, and when he was home, I'd have to be home with him, and I was just opening myself up to more abuse. So then I went to the other side of the spectrum on it, and I started excelling at school. If I found something in school I wanted to do, I found a way of making money to do it. I was probably in every club, every sport that I took interest in. I did football, volunteered for extra football practices just so I didn't have to be home. And that's probably my aunt was my safe haven, and one of my safe haven places. And that's actually how I got into music. Is my older cousin. He had a wide range of music he liked, and I heard bits and pieces of it when at 9 or 10 I would run away. She lived like a mile and a half from my house. I would just, my mom wasn't there, not because she didn't care, but my oldest brother had a lot of health problems.
Yeah.
So he took priority, and I'm thankful she did because he's here today. But then I felt like I didn't matter. So I would run away to my aunts. And I can tell you time after time where my stepdad would come down and tell my aunt that I was coming home with him, and my aunt stood in my place. So that was probably one of my first safe havens, that my aunt, and then my cousin opened my eyes to a wide range of music, and I realized that music helped me feel certain ways and deal with the not being good enough, the mad at the world, the sad, the happy.
Right.
So I started plugging into it, and in that era of music, it wasn't as easy as it is today, where you could just go online and type in motivated music and you get whatever you want.
Right.
Now. So I would actually have to do work, and then I found football. I got in high school, I found football, and I loved it.
Right. Right.
It was my discipline. I thought my coach was hard, but he was fair looking back. And I've had a lot of coaches in my life that have had that positive role model. In fact, my basketball coach in grade school, he ran me like a scalded dog, but I deserved every minute of it. I was disrespectful, and I realized he was molding me into be a better man as well. But I didn't see it that way then, because I was doing what I was used to, being disrespectful, because that's the only way my voice got heard. And
that's really something that parents, I know, like being a parent myself, a lot of this, when kids act out, it's always for attention. It's always because the only real attention that you get is when you did something wrong or whatever. And that's it's not my history, but it's what I've witnessed, what I've seen in kids, globally. And when you see that, it's kind of like, unfortunately, you're not in a position where, I mean, they don't come with a manual, you know what I mean? It's very much like how do we parent in a very proactive, mentally aware way. And some people don't know how to do that because you're basically teaching your kids the same way you were raised because that's what you know. Unless at some point you realize that was not the way to be treating children, you're just, everything that happens is put forward, and so you're paying forward all of the stuff that happened to you when you were a kid. And I'm lucky enough to say I have a great family network. It's not perfect by any stretch, but definitely not abusive or any of that stuff. And it's, when I hear your story, it kills, because there's so many people like you out there, even today, at a young age, not knowing what to do.
Oh, absolutely. Like for me, and I'll be 100% honest, I fell into a trap of the same relationship my mom and my stepdad had. Got in a very narcissistic marriage. She had 3 kids when I got with her. Then we ended up having 3 of our own, 4 of our own. Well, no, at that point we had 3 of our own, and we lost them to the state. And unfortunately, I stepped in. I took my ex-wife's side instead of fighting for my kids, because that's what I seen growing up.
Right.
And
right.
Not that it's right. I never did get my kids back. Family has them. But that was a burden I had to deal with. I wanted to be a dad so bad.
Yeah.
That when I lost my kids, and I'm religious. I don't push that on anybody, but I am. And that was something I had to take between me and my God. That I was mad.
What religion are you? Just out of interest.
I'm a Christian, but I don't just say I'm a Christian. I say I have a relationship, because too many people use the term Christian and are out robbing banks or whatever. So there's a difference between getting religion and having a relationship. But
that's real. Like, I'm not religious. I was raised Catholic.
I go to this thing right here, this Encounter Ministry thing. It's a men's group, and it's an accountability group initially,
right?
And something I never was used to. And I lost my kids. I battled that. I was drinking here and there, but when I lost my kids to the state, I went deep into my addiction of alcohol. I had been drinking since I was 10 years old. So, but back then it was a different era too. So it was a lot easier for minors to get it back then than it is today.
Right.
Little did I know that wasn't the answer, but when that's what you see all your life, you fall into them traps. And fast forward a little more, my ex-wife and I, we ended up, after the state closed their case, we ended up having another little girl. We got to keep her. Then she left me July 23rd of 23. Wrecked my world. It did. There was times where my mental health was so bad. I was like, thankfully, my daughter's at my mom's, because it wouldn't take much to turn this vehicle into that oncoming semi. I mean, never did it, obviously, but the thought was there. So I knew I had to get help.
Right. So when you were looking for help, I know for me, it's so daunting because I mean, I got help later. So in the last 5 or 6 years, so there was more availability, I would say, because of COVID, because of other things. And so a lot of the stuff that was available was like apps that you can jump on, a video call or whatever. But the stigma attached to getting help was always there. I couldn't find, it took me a long time to find somebody that I could actually talk to.
I'll be honest, that's where my men's group saved me. Music was a big part of it, but me finding religion and finding a relationship with God and finding the men's group that I'm plugged into. Now, I quit drinking for a while, and every now and then I'll have a drink, but I wouldn't say I'm an alcohol. I'm a recovering alcoholic, but it's not where it's controlling my life.
Right.
And I found the group, and we were able to, be real with each other, and that's so important. Is finding. Be honestly, I tried therapy. I did. Most of them have the new age model, and I don't care for it.
Right.
And I found therapy in my group, in my support system. Like,
and I mean, a lot of people don't understand that therapy is not necessarily just a professional or whatever. It can be a friend. It can be hanging out with a group of people that you resonate with, talking about your problems, journaling your problems. Music is food for the soul. For me, writing songs was like it is basically like writing in a journal. It's like a diary, but it's being able. I don't know how you feel about the new AI stuff, but basically, it's out there, and so I've been toying with that, playing around, singing into stuff, and it's great fun. I love doing it. My brother gives me crap for it all the time because he's an actual musician. I'm just a AI robot, according to him.
No, I don't think being a DJ, I think AI in writing music can be beneficial.
Well, so here's the thing. It's about production. So if you look at it, and now we're going a different route, but if you look at it like this, in the top 100 on the Billboard, out of 100 artists, 85% of them use some form of AI in production. So
absolutely. But
so if you're using the tool in a less dependable way, for me, I don't play an instrument, so I play around, I put my voice in, I can make sounds and all that stuff, and it makes it into something cool. It's scary when you think about it. It is really, really scary. That intro, that's a new intro I made yesterday. It's not my voice, and it's not really me. It's just AI.
I ain't gonna lie. I use AI when I write my Podmatch profile. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
I plugged in what I wanted to say, and I said, make this sound more professional.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, but I think
there's nothing wrong with that.
As a DJ and for writers, I think AI can be beneficial because they can write a song and say, "There's actually a guy that has music on Spotify right now." If I wouldn't tell you, it would be really hard for you to realize that guy, it was nothing but AI.
Oh, right, yeah.
But he writes it to where he can present it to somebody else and say, "This is what I had in mind for this track."
Right.
And he's honest with someone. He's like, "I wrote this all by myself." I think if you're going to use AI, whether you're an artist, and like me and you talking now, I ain't going to lie. I sent in a press kit, didn't know how to put a press kit together. ChatGPT helped me write a press kit. My intro on my podcast, I wasn't for sure how to do an intro.
Right.
I typed in on ChatGPT, walk me through how to make an intro. Walk me how to do it using Canva. So I think it opens doors, and it's another tool.
Yeah, I mean, I put my stuff on Spotify. I have some fun with it. It's a good outlet. What a lot of people don't understand is, what world do you think you're growing up in? At the end of the day, like, it's the same thing with kids. There's a certain amount of things that you should allow them and not allow them to do. While I'm 100% behind the collective, go out, you scrape your knee, go out and have fun, just do that kind of stuff. But my 7-year-old, I got him a coding course to learn how to code and do stuff, because at the end of the day, coding is the new thing, So if you can code, it's your gateway to a good career.
Yeah,
but
just like producing music, there's so many independent artists that needs help producing music. I'm a DJ. I do live sound at festivals. I see a lot of artists come in and they just bring a song that they've laid because they don't know how to take their voice off the track. So
Right.
there's a lot of need for it. And, like when I go in my school, I'm doing the Full Sail University. And when I do something, if I use AI, I have to give it the credit that I used AI to guide me in the steps to do this.
Right.
So if you're going to use it, you utilize that. That'd be like me playing your song on my intro and not telling people who did my intro when they asked.
Right. 100%.
Like my intro, and I tell everybody this, is done by one of my best friends. I met him last year at a festival I did. We ran sound together. He had a podcast on called The Scene Project, and we hit it off. His name's Bubba Starts, and we connected. He was one of them people that you feel that you've known your whole life. It's gotten to a point,
and that really is valuable because we're talking about connection and groups and all that kind of stuff. Friendship is a huge piece of that. Socializing, like talking to people about your problems, finding someone that you can connect with is a big piece. I'm very lucky to have a network of people that I'm always talking to, that I'm really connected with. They're like my family. I don't have quote unquote family on this side of the water, but you may as well call them family because that's I spend Thanksgiving with them, or I spend whatever, it's whatever I can do. If it's an option, it's always nice to have. Tell me a little bit about the music side of it for you and how that's helped you with your struggles, because I know how it's helped me, but we're not talking about me today. We're talking about you. So let's.
Music is actually, like I said, was saying earlier, it taught me how to feel. When I went through my divorce, I've always loved the song by Rascal Flatts, "What Hurts the Most."
Right.
But when I come out of my divorce, that song hits so much harder because
Yeah.
I was that close and had to watch my ex-wife walk away.
Right.
And I'm the type of person that if I'm sad, I'm going to listen to a song that's sad that talks about what I'm going through.
Right.
And once I go through that stage of grief, I'll use music to go through the next stage and then the next stage. My angry song was "Puddle of Mud."
Oh yeah.
He hates me. That was my angry song.
I love that, dude. I love that song. That's a good song.
The song,
I don't even have to know you don't have to tell me the title of the song. I already know.
But the song that probably made the most impact on me, being as country as I am, is Michael Jackson's "Man in the Mirror." I was coming back.
Oh, wow.
From a gig. I know I have a wide range in music because I'm a DJ.
Right.
But when I drive, I primarily listen to country music at the time. Right. And I'm coming back from a gig, and this song comes on. And then, I was a good country song, and you go through one of them dead zones where the radio station changes.
Yeah.
So, or you lose your radio station. So I surf for the next one, and that song come on. As I'm pulling into my babysitter's driveway, "Man in the Mirror" come on, and it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I cried like a baby.
Nothing wrong with that.
Because I knew exactly at that point what I needed to do after my narcissistic marriage, how to restart. I had to start with myself. I had to learn to love myself and be okay being me. And, and then there was just so many moments and,
talk about the narcissism. We actually did an episode, one of our first episodes. I had a therapist on that was he specialized in narcissism. I don't even think I couldn't believe that even existed, but yes, he specialized in narcissism. And so we did a hour-long conversation about how narcissism can affect you in your relationship and all that stuff. And a lot of people don't even realize what narcissism is. Some people don't realize that it's happening to them, and it's completely, they're not educated on the types of abuse that you can get when you're in a relationship, whether it be romantic or otherwise. So like what did that look like for you?
Oh, it was horrible. I'm trying to find the right words for it because I don't talk about that a whole lot, to be honest. I'm fine with talking about it, but I have to. That's one I've not talked about a whole lot. So you picked a good one. But for me, it was different. I went through 12 years of being told that I would never find anyone but. We were together 12 years, and anytime we get in an argument, she would tear me down and manipulate me to where if I had an ideal about doing something, it wasn't good enough. It was, I don't know. It still gets me sometimes because I know I put myself in that situation.
Right.
It almost gives them, in my opinion, and it might be wrong, but in my opinion, it almost gives that person with the power almost a God complex.
Right.
And that's how it was in my situation because, I got so focused on her, and that's what they do. She tore me down daily. I was a nobody. I was nothing but an alcoholic. I was nothing. I was no better than my.
It forces you to become almost codependent, which is really toxic in itself. Just because, you can't live, you can't do anything right. You're constantly asking for permission, forgiveness, you name it. And
my first job after my marriage was over, I still DJ'd, but I needed obviously another job, a more steady job to make up the income.
Right.
And I got a job working at the Pizza Hut over here in Salem. And I'm thankful for the lady that worked up there because she had survived a narcissistic marriage myself. But
right.
I had to give her $1 every time I said I'm sorry.
That's.
I mean, it sounds horrible.
No. I mean, it's a great way to do it.
When you come out of that relationship, your self-worth is so down in the dump.
Yeah, you lose your self-worth completely.
Oh, absolutely. You look in your confidence, you don't know who you are. You're a nobody. You really are. And so when something goes wrong, whether it's your fault or not, you're like, and it's what you're used to. I'm sorry. I've been cheated on, and I apologize for being the one being cheated on. So, I mean, they tear you down so bad that you don't know which way's up or down.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I've been. I mentioned this in the last podcast. I'm a huge follower of Jay Shetty. He's it's a phenomenal podcast that he does. He's famous now, and he deals with a lot of the movie stars, and he has all that stuff. But he's incredible, and he has some great little sayings that kind of help you through the tough times. And honestly, that plus really just being around friends, looking at listening to music, being creative was huge. Doing this, focusing my energy on something like this. I don't talk about this often, but I did a podcast about 7 months ago, and somebody reached out afterwards and thanked me because they were on the verge of committing suicide, and that really was when I understood what we can do and how it can affect people. Like just this conversation right now. If anyone's tuned in, I can see actually there's a few tuned in. Join in the chat if you've got any information, any things that you want to talk about. But that's what we're doing this for. That's what I do this for, is to really open the floodgates on availability of resources for anyone that's going through mental health issues or things of that nature. One of the things that Jay says is stop fighting the pain, because you can't control the way the pain moves, but you can control where the path that it puts you on. So I think that's a huge thing. That's a huge
I had to own my. I had to own being a victim, and I say that to say this: I had to own being the victim in that situation, but I didn't live there, and
Right.
that's where a lot of people that come out of that go wrong. I was that guy. I come out of, my men's group. I'm thankful for it. I went to a men's encounter. They do this big thing where a bunch of guys get together and like-minded men, and they do a thing where they ask anyone who has thought about recently to commit suicide.
Right.
I stood up. I had a group of guys around me that has known me for a couple months now, and it blew their mind at how close I was.
Right.
And one of the guys up there on stage that was talking, he said, and this has been a quote that stuck with me, that's almost 4 years ago now, and it stuck with me, was, "You win if you don't quit." You take that and you bring that to life. And a lot of people think, so you win if you don't quit. That means you win in the situation if you don't quit. I had to take that one step further. Maybe not how he meant it, but for me, I adapted it even further. I changed it from "you win if you quit" to "if you got out of bed this morning and you're so depressed, but you got out of bed and you stood up, that's a win."
Yeah.
If you
100%.
took a hot shower today because you were so depressed and you lacked your motivation, that's a win. So, it almost breaks it down to one breath at a time. I can't tell you how many times I've had to do that, especially being a single father. I don't talk about it a whole lot because I try, not so much to put on myself, but 9 times out of 10, I'm the one asking the question. So I'm like you. I make it about my guests, and I've recently started doing more guest shows on podcasts.
Right.
And it's to the point where, our community as a whole, and I don't mean just the community you live, I mean the people you're connected with, whether it's through Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you're on, you got a community that follows you. Check on them. You got to love them. At the end of the day, we can't give love because 9 times out of 10, 90% of us don't know what it is.
Right.
And that was a hard one for me to fathom. You
gotta find out how to love somebody. You gotta learn how to love somebody, and it's something it's such a out there concept because everybody receives love in a different way. Everyone they talk about love languages and how people communicate, etc.
But it's one step further than that. You got to learn how to love yourself before you can love anyone else. And that's where a lot of issues start, is because I have family that they'll get out of one relationship and jump into another and take all their baggage from that last relationship into the next one.
Right.
That's not healthy.
No.
For me, it's only been 3 years. July 23 of this year will be 3 years that my ex-wife has left. But I can tell you, I'm happier than I ever been. I'm happier than I was when I was with her. Now, not to say we didn't have good times, and I'm not belittling her. But overall, I'm happier now than I've ever been. I don't need someone in my life. I want someone in my life, but I'm going to put my mental health before that and first, almost. And that's a lesson none of us really know, is because it's been so normalized being a victim that the victim mindset, it's, I'm a bigger victim than Philip because I did this. Or then it becomes a competition that you're a bigger victim than me because you dealt with this. And then I try to one up you. And you know what? Who cares the bigger victim? Deal with your issues that makes you a victim and move on. Because until you can adequately move on from that victim mindset, and I'm saying this from experience, you can't love yourself
Yeah.
until you can let go being a victim. Because once you always cling to that, I'm a victim and nothing ever goes my way, and why me, and the list to go on. April of last year, I broke my arm working on the house.
Oh,
I
damn.
bought. Broke
Wow.
it in 4 different spots above the elbow. Went through a 6.5-hour surgery. I still found a way to finish the floor in my daughter's room in the house I bought working on. Broke my
Right.
arm working on. So I could have lived in that mindset. Oh, I'm a victim. I broke my arm. I can't do nothing. I went 3.5 months with nerve damage where I couldn't even move my wrist.
Right.
But I found a way. And that's what society has got to look at is, yes, mental health is important. If you can't shake it on your own, and some people are really good at shaking it and getting past it. And part of me is a little jealous of the people that can do it so easily.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But there's those of us like me that I get help by talking. I can't tell you with my podcast and how much it talks about mental health, how much I have healed since June of last year. I've only had my podcast since June of last year.
Right, and honestly, a lot of people don't understand that is that talking about it is healing. It's very, very healing. There's so much you can get so much out of it. It's insane, and honestly, I feel the same way. I've spoken to some amazing people. I've had some tough conversations live, unexpectedly as well, and so it's been real. But the biggest thing that people can do in a situation like yours is really look out for your network, your people. Find that person you can confide in. Find that friend. Find that lady that you work with that seems to want to help out. People reciprocate the energy that they receive. So if you're coming at them with bad energy, they're not everybody has the emotional intelligence to be able to give you a different outcome to that. And so we got to make sure that overall, as people, we lead our lives with a little bit of grace. Like, we have to understand that everybody's going through something. Everybody has their backstory or something that's gone into how they've become the person who they are. I wouldn't change anything that I've gone through in my whole life. None of it is close to what you've been through, but because at the end of the day, it's led me to this place right now where I'm sitting on a podcast talking to you. So there's so many things that people don't understand, that and you talk about religion and everything like that. That's when people lose faith, is because, well, why would God do this to me? Why would he do this to me?
Oh, exactly. And I was that guy. I was way back when I went to school to be a youth minister. Right. I believed in God wholeheartedly, but then life got hard. And a lot of my poor choices, looking back now, and that's where ultimately God gives us free will. We're not robots. And sometimes our free will is what gets us in trouble. And when it gets us in trouble, it's like, why God? Why God? You weren't worried about God when you was doing what you were doing. You know, you surround yourself around negative people, you're going to get negative influences.
Right.
You know, garbage in, garbage out.
100%. 100%.
I mean, I can tell you now, music can be a blessing, but music can be an issue as well.
Yes,
for me, when I was quit drinking, I had to avoid country music for a little bit, as much as I loved it, because I never knew when a song on the radio was going to come on to talk about drinking. And I was at a point in my life where I couldn't hear that. I didn't want to hear that. Because if I knew I heard a song about drinking a 40 or drinking a case of beer or, you know, Jim Beam, whatever was in the song, I didn't be thinking about it. And I'd be like, ooh, I want that. So for me, I had to, and, you know, when you come through recovery, it's really sad because I never been through a 12-step program. I never have. But I found an amazing support program that has helped me work through that. And people don't realize when they go in so deep in that rabbit hole that a lot of times their addiction is just masking a bigger problem. 100%. Like for me, my alcohol was masking the fact that I felt I wasn't good enough. I had no true worth. You know, I know wholeheartedly that I'm loved. I love myself. If nobody else loves me, at the end of the day, I love myself.
And that's something that not a lot of people can do. So,
but I have a 3-year-old that tells me 20 times a day, if not more.
Right.
I'm surprised, and she's come in here earlier, and I muted the mic because she was being loud. That tells me I love you. I tell her I love you.
Right.
And I started that.
Right.
I would look at her and say, her nickname's Monkey, and I say, Monkey, I love you.
Right.
Because you need to be intentional.
Right.
Like, and on my podcast, when she comes on, I let her talk to me for a few minutes. I tell my guests, wait a minute. And 9 times out of 10, when she comes up to talk to me, it's just to tell me I love you. I tell her I love her, and she goes back and she goes play.
Yeah.
And I've never edited it.
Look, they want to jump on and start having a conversation. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately,
I never edit any of that out.
It's all about being part of the party for these kids.
Oh yeah. Oh, she wants to so bad sometimes, but I won't let her because she's 3.
Yeah.
But and it's so funny and people don't realize. Think back as a kid watching your parents do something, and whether you subconsciously thought it or not, there's a point in your adult life where you've done something your parent done at that moment. No, and I'm not talking necessarily bad. I'm just talking anything in general. Saying something. You know, all of us parents or kids were told in that decade, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it.
Right.
Now, I've never said that to my daughter.
Right.
But,
I mean,
do I need to pull this vehicle over?
You know what I mean? Some people were.
Do I need to pull this vehicle over? That's mine. My mom used to say it to me all the time. And I can't tell you how many times I've asked my 3-year-old that.
Don't make me turn this car around.
Exactly. So subconsciously, and sometimes we don't even know we're doing it, that they are called generational cycles.
Right. 100%.
And sometimes breaking them generational cycles depends on the cycle. Some of them are a curse. When all your kid is seeing you drink, fight with your spouse, and that's all they're seeing, that's a generational curse. And if that's you and you're watching this,
100%.
Ask yourself, would you be okay with your kid marrying yourself? And it sounds messed up. But if you're not okay with your kid marrying the type of person you are at this exact moment,
that's a problem.
You got to change.
Right.
That's what changed me. I knew I lost my other kids and I can't take that back. But if they were to marry the man I was back then, I'd probably end up in jail.
Right.
Now, I never hit my ex-wife. But she was narcissistic, and I knew how to push her buttons to get the attention. Because that's what they make you believe.
So, Willie, just to not to cut you off or anything, but I want to pimp you out a little bit because you're an awesome dude and you've got some great stuff going on. So, first and foremost, sir, if you don't mind, I'm going to show off your website, which is shared on the bottom of the screen, the sceneprojects.com.
That is actually the network I'm on. The guy that created that was the guy I was telling you about earlier. Bubba Starts. We bonded. And if you're an artist and you want to, and you're watching this, or just you have a story that music has impacted you, you can actually scroll down on that page and it should say "Book with Wild Willie" on Soul Impact. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. There it is.
It's coming. There we go. There we go. There we go.
So
Yeah. Amazing stuff. There's ways of watching the show, listening to the show. One of the biggest things that really is awesome for me is you can kick into the link here. And I will have to share the other piece. Hold on.
But no, the thing is, I'm grateful for that network. That has been a huge support. The family.
And so you got the Scene Project is really awesome. I actually listened to a couple of them before we came on.
Mine is not on there. I do need to get up with him and see if he won't post a link on there.
But before we go any further, I am going to show you where we can get some Soul Impact, because when my computer works with me, you know how that works. Soul Impact, how music saved us. To find this gentleman and his amazing works, I have the tag scrolling on the bottom of the screen for you. It is at Soul Impact HMSU. Or you could just do what I did, which is up the front here. Soul Impact, how music saved us. It's all there. As you can see, I have subscribed to everything this guy has done. And there is a lot of content that we can indulge in.
Yes. I'm actually booked out until May of this year.
Amazing.
And like I said, though, if you have a story to tell, you can actually find me on Spotify, Apple. I've been on interviews on Apple. I think 6 other different podcasts.
Right.
My own Apple's on there. You can actually, I don't remember, but you can actually Google Soul Impact, and I think it's the first 11 pages are me.
I'll tell you right now. Look at this, live on air. I'm going to find out what he's talking about. Yes, you have Apple Podcasts, on Podcast. There's a few other ones. Oh, Soul Impact. Yep. Let's go over here and see if that's. No, that's somebody else. Whoops. There's a lot. There is a lot on there. But the biggest thing for me, for everyone that's watching, Willie is an amazing guy. As you can hear, he has a lot of experience. If you just need someone to talk to, this guy is incredible. He has all the links that you could possibly have on websites, on YouTube, however you want to find this guy. And he is a huge advocate for mental health, and I'm sure he can probably give you some insight in some of the things that you may be going through.
On that first one you clicked on, if you will click on that Soul Impact on podcastai.com, that is actually the website where they can go to listen on my to listen to all my episodes.
All righty, I will bring that up right now. And look at this. Technology is marvelous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And if you just want to be emailed about updating about what I'm doing on, I'll give you my email too. I always looking for an email chain that will reach people. So
what's your email there, sir?
It's Backwoods, BACKWOODS production 01@gmail.com.
Woods production. I'm not a typer, as you can see.
Neither am I.
I'm like, Jesus.
And if you're an artist out there, I do another show.
You said at gmail.com? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Gmail. gmail.com. And all of it's now scrolling in the bottom. There you go.
Look at you go. But no, and if you're an artist and you want to get your music out there, I do have connections with the radio station over here. If it's country music, I do have a radio station connection over here in Missouri. Always looking to add music to my DJ playlist.
Awesome. Well,
reach out.
You're an awesome guy. I really appreciate you coming on the show, my friend. Your insight is incredible. The experiences that you've had, all I can say is you are a credit to the family that you have, and the fact that you're sitting here in front of me and having this conversation about how to better yourself, how to get forward, how to get through the situations that some people just don't know how. Reach out to Willie. He is this guy. He's the same guy that I'm talking to right now. He's no different off air. We've been messaging all day. He's a fantastic guy. So please take advantage of that. Also, go and check out his podcast. He talks about the same stuff. He's open, honest. He doesn't hold back. He talks to his daughter on there. He's unfiltered. He doesn't care. He wants to help as many people as possible, just like I do. We're unified in the same goal, which is to help as many people as possible. I thank everybody for watching this evening. It is another Head Noise mental health podcast. If you want to reach out, please do so. This is my email, unscriptedproductionstudio@gmail.com. You can text me at 503-862-9972, and I will happily reply. If you're interested in being a guest, if you have somebody you'd like to reach out to, if you can't find anything on Wild Willie, which is insane because I just did it live on air, even that, please reach out. I will definitely help. Other than that, my wonderful viewers, we will see you again next time. And please, please, please lead with grace.